Fennec in The Mandalorian is not the Fennec that we have going on right now in the Bad Batch. Where is
Yeah.
your honor?
She's a bad bounty hunter doing bad things, you know. It's always great seeing Fennec Shand. I love Ming-Na Wen. Welcome back to This is the Wayseekers, a podcast for Star Wars fans by Star Wars fans. My name's Austin SWE. I'm here with my co-host who is a very happy Star Wars fan this week because their favorite character may be returning in next week's episodes of The Bad Batch, teased in this week's episodes of The Bad Batch. Scotty Holiday, how you doing? How you feeling?
I'm just feeling like really excited because, I mean, not only was this Bad Batch episode fun, but also we may or may not be getting my favorite character, Asajj Ventress, next week after, you know, they teased someone at the end of this episode. So it's really exciting.
Yes.
I'm in a good mood.
Yeah, I know. I immediately thought of you and all our interactions from these last few episodes where you've been like, Ventress, where's Ventress? And I'm like, oh, finally, here it comes so we could get over it and move on with our lives. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, for me to be disappointed because she's in the episode for like 10 minutes and then she's like, I've got to go on my own mission. And that's it.
No. Listen, I know I've been joking, but I'm excited for Ventress to come back too. I've been excited. You guys saw our reaction to the trailer, how we were both screaming our heads off, banging the table and things, shaking our cameras. But Scotty, which Bad Batch episode are we discussing today on This is the Wayseekers?
Today we're going to discuss episode 8, Bad Territory.
Oh yeah. And we're in bad territory here with what happened at the end there with Fennec and Wrecker and Hunter. You know, I was really thinking there at the end, not to just immediately jump to the end, but I was really loving the trust that I felt like Wrecker and Hunter, when they trusted Fennec, I was like, yeah, they can do that. She's real. She's not gonna betray them. And then literally 2 seconds later, she did exactly what I thought she wouldn't do.
Yeah, it definitely caught me off guard at first too, and I had to kind of rewatch it because I wasn't sure if she did kind of sell them out or what at the end. Because I was like, did she really just do that? Because when she left Omega after season 1, like she seemed like hopeful after they were like, you know, when who was it? Nalase was like, she's just better off with the Bad Batch, no worries. Like Fennec she seemed, I don't know, not sisterly, not motherly, just like a
trustworthy, respectable as a bounty hunter, because the bounty hunters do seem to have kind of a respect code, give respect, get respect type thing. They're not just all assholes, because if you think about it, they're all really just trying to
make money.
Yep, exactly. But I don't know, but I thought the same thing, because when she made the call at first, I was like, oh, I wonder who she's reaching out to. I thought that she was just reaching out to Ventress or whoever she, you know, Cad Bane, whoever the contact is that's going to be able to help Wrecker and Hunter. I thought she was just contacting that person and being like, okay, so what information can I relay to them? Can you give me a location to give them? But then at the end there, when she's like, oh, I could give you the location and you can easily find them. I'm like, what the fuck?
And literally she was like, oh, I don't have the information now. I have to go figure it out first. I didn't say I'm giving it to you right now. And then she goes in the ship and she calls the contact that she's talking about.
Right.
Fennec, you're better than this.
Exactly.
Fennec in The Mandalorian is not the Fennec that we have going on right now in the Bad Batch. Where's your honor?
Well, if you think about it, she's like in her Boba Fett era that we saw before, where it's like she's a bad bitch bounty hunter doing bad things, you know.
Well, she's a lot younger too, I guess, is something to keep in mind. So she's like serving cunt and being kind of a cunt. But
but you would never be able to tell that she was younger, considering she looks the exact same and is wearing the exact same outfit that she wears 20 years later.
She's got good genes. She's got good genes. I can't fault her for that.
Good jeans and a dirty, smelly outfit that she constantly wears.
Yeah, well, she's not white, so I'm sure she aged well.
Period. But just so we're on the same page, the contact you think was Ventress, right? That's where your mind immediately went to. I mean, that's what I assumed, because we didn't get to talk about it. So
my anxiety mind was like, they're trying to set it up like it's gonna be her, but it's actually not, and you're gonna be
Right.
disappointed. So don't get your hopes up because
Yeah.
that's just like too easy. But also, I mean, I think we talked about this either last episode or the one before. I was like, who else is going to teach them
Right.
about what midichlorians are? Because for
Exactly.
whatever reason, like even Fee is like, oh, I don't know what M count is. I'm like, nobody knows what M count is, but it's
Right.
supposedly everybody has midichlorians within them. This I don't want to get into Star Wars lore too much because it gets a little murky when it comes to the midichlorians,
Right.
but it's just I'm like, I guess who else could teach them? It's not like
Yeah.
there's a bunch of Jedi running around. I mean, maybe the contact is actually Quinlan Voss. We have no idea.
Yeah.
And so many people are saying that, oh, Quinlan, I hope he's in it too. And I'm like, just because Ventress is in it doesn't mean that Quinlan's going to be in it. And I feel like if they were going to tease one of them, they would choose Quinlan over Ventress to like actually show
Yeah.
in the trailer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Because it's like Ventress coming back is a whole resurrection. It would have came out of left field.
And we
But
know Quinlan's alive. They already made that
exactly.
clear in Kenobi. So,
Yeah, so it wouldn't have been a real surprise. It would have made sense with the path and everything. I agree. I think it's Ventress. The only other person I could think of is Cad Bane, but it's not
yeah.
like he's going to have much information. Well, I guess he was very much about combating the Jedi and what they do, so
I
maybe he
mean,
would
don't
know
forget,
something,
he
but
broke into the Jedi Temple at one
that's
point in the Clone
true.
Wars, and I think he stole a holocron. Uh,
Yeah, yeah, he did.
yeah, holocron heist. I think that's the
Yeah,
episode
look
title.
at you. Knowing the episode titles. Ooh, every week we're showing that we're real Star Wars fans more and more. We're not fake fans anymore like we were at the start of this podcast.
But don't ask us about the High Republic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's Cad Bane. I think you're onto something there where it makes more sense for it to be Ventress because she's the most likely to know about what a midichlorian is. But
Yeah.
do you think it's possible that Ventress, you could recontextualize that call if it is Ventress, Fennec calling Ventress, where
Mhm.
Fennec's calling Ventress being like, there's some clones asking about the M count these M count bounties that the Empire is putting out, and Ventress actually wants their location to find them to help them out because she's helping Quinlan Voss with the path.
Did
And
you I mean, did you read my notes? Did I
no,
put them in the Wayseekers Google Drive instead of my own?
no, is that
Um,
what you think?
so my hope, because that's the thing, Fennec points out that her contact is someone who's already done one of these M count missions or one of these M count bounties. And
Yeah,
so I was like, I don't love the idea if Ventress is literally getting these people on this bounty list with a high M count and just giving them up to the Empire for money. Because I like
yeah,
to think that even if she does go back into some of her old bitter ways, that like
right,
post Dark Disciple, I'd like to think that she also still held on to some of the good. You know what
yeah,
I mean?
yeah.
So I was like, I'm kind of hoping that maybe she is going after these high M count bounties to
Hmm.
save them from being captured by the
Yeah,
other bounty hunters. And whether that leads into the hidden path or if she's just kind of doing her own thing, you know, that's kind of what I want it to be.
hmm,
Like it's a red herring. She's not actually
yeah,
capturing these people because I'm like I talk about the bounty episode of the Clone Wars where she saves that girl instead of going and getting the money because
hmm,
she feels for her, someone being taken from their family, taken from everything that they love. And I'm like,
right.
I mean, if we also think about it, this is kind of what the Inquisitors are doing later within Star Wars Rebels. And I'm like, if
True.
Ventress is doing this, she's no better than an Inquisitor.
That's
And
true.
I just I just don't see her being so heartless at this point in the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with you.
I mean,
It
I'm
has to
I'm
be.
biased, but
Yeah, well, I mean, we're reading Dark Disciple right now, both at the same time for your book club, and it's just like I think we've talked about before, like how yeah, Ventress isn't just gonna like up and join the rebellion at this point in the
no.
timeline. Maybe that's in her future, but not right now. Um, but at the same time, I don't think that she would be helping out the Empire wanting to work with them, especially on a mission like this where it's like you said, Omega being taken from a family who was a child,
Mhm.
it all and like she knows Boba Fett.
Yeah, and all
So
she wants is the money out of it. I'm like, "No,
yeah,
this is, like, chapter 4 of Dark Disciple Ventress."
yeah,
We're way past that at this time within the book and within, Star Wars canon, like, we're past that.
right.
So, we wanna see a little growth, and Brad Rao, I'm holding you to your word that they're honoring the events and they will align with Dark Disciple.
Yes, yes. So I really wonder how that's going to work out. If they're gonna reference her death, if they're gonna like find Ventress on Dathomir or something where she's like
Yeah.
hidden out. I don't know. I'm really interested to see. But this whole conversation is gonna be really awkward if it turns out to be like a new character next week that she was in contact with.
Oh my god, like it turns out to be who could it be? Because I even thought when we were kinda talking before this, I was like, are people thinking it's Ahsoka? But
Mm,
technically, if the talk about it not really being, like, taking it at face value, Ahsoka could fit exactly what we're talking about, like, they're actually going for these
mhm.
bounties to save these people, not to actually send them over
True.
to the Empire. But I'm like,
But why would Fennec be in contact with Ahsoka? You know what I mean? Like I feel like it
well,
makes more sense with Ventress's ties to bounty hunters.
I was gonna say we're forgetting the fact that literally Fennec is like it's a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
As far as we know, well, Star Wars canon hates the Ahsoka novel, so they'd make Ahsoka a bounty hunter at this point if Dave Filoni wanted to, but
Right.
I don't see that in her cards. She's too busy fulcruming right now.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's Ventress because it's like who's a bounty hunter who would also know about midichlorians?
Okay, but I can't lie, I am kind of sad. Like if she just
Why?
went back to bounty hunting,
True, true, but
like
like, but we already talked about that. It could be bounty hunting for good. Maybe she's taking him to the path. We even
she's
talked about that
bounty
last week.
she's bounty hunting for change.
Yes, that's the new charity for Star Wars after Force for Change. New
Oh my
name.
god, that'll be the title of this episode: Bounty Hunting for Change. No, we'll save that for next week.
Yeah.
I wanted to point out, speaking of bounty hunters, we got a fun little Easter egg to Jedi Fallen Order in this episode. Did you catch that?
Yes, I did, but now it's of course slipping my mind. But I
The,
immediately thought like these writers love Jedi Fallen Order and Survivor.
I mean, who doesn't?
Right.
They have good taste. But yeah,
What was it
Fennec
called?
Shand, the Haxian Brood.
Yeah, Haxian Brood. I kept wanting to say something that started with the H, like H of Brood, but I don't know where that came from. But can you explain to the audience who that is or what that is, and to me, I guess too.
So the Haxian Brood is a crime syndicate that was introduced in Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. They capture Cal at one point. You have to fight a bunch of creatures, kind of like in their fighting pit. It's a
Hmm.
pain in the ass. It's probably
Right.
my and probably everybody else's least favorite part of the game, but
It was fun.
nonetheless, oh, I hated it. But then again, I didn't play on story mode like you did.
Yeah, no, exactly, exactly. I kind of cheated and got through all those that big match, but I liked the setting of it too. That giant
Yeah.
match where it's like a wrestling match or something.
Yeah, and then I mean, it's literally like a fighting pit, and then the fact
Yeah.
that Grease and Sear just like crash through the side of the
Yes.
Mantis to pick up Cal, and
Yes.
yeah, it's really funny.
Yeah.
Because basically the pilot of Cal's crew's got a debt with the Haxian Brood, so that's why they capture Cal because they like,
Right.
well, this will get Grease to come here, so and it works, but they literally say, "Fuck you, Haxian Brood, we're getting our Jedi and getting the fuck out."
Yeah, I feel like somebody on that team is a huge fan of Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor, probably played it during the pandemic when this show
Yeah,
was being created. So it kind of lines up. But yeah, I feel like there's a lot of references to Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor. Like talk about Bracas in season 1, the Zepho episode. Do you think that was the Zepho in season 2?
no,
No, of course
no.
not.
Okay, it's just like the architecture, the technology on the inside. Why the fuck would they not power the mech with wind?
I don't know.
That was the whole thing about the Zepho, but
I don't know. You cast Jennifer Corbett.
sorry, Jen.
But okay, so what else happened in this episode?
Well, something I wanted to talk about is we finally got Fee.
Yeah. Little glimpse, little, and she mentioned tech.
Yeah, I wrote down the line that she said. She was like, Tech's brain was the data bank, not mine. But I was like, really? That's all that's all you're going to give us, Fee? And like part of me
Yeah.
was like, well, she's being less bubbly than usual. So I was like, maybe she is kind of like mourning Tech, but I'm like, or am I just making it seem this way in my head because I want her to be sad about it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, what probably happened is they just don't have enough time to show. I feel like if there was going to
Yeah.
be more seasons of the show, they probably would have slowed it down and made like the first few episodes like the aftermath of what happened.
Okay. But we've already talked about this. They've had 16 episodes before. Season 3, the final season is 15 episodes. So
Yeah.
they coulda gave us our morning tech episode, but that's something I feel like they've barely touched on the entire season. It's like everybody's moved
Yeah.
past it at this point, which is just weird. But I guess they've made it a point like that it's been a long time and Omega was on Mount Tantus for a while. So
Yeah, it's been a while. And two, I just feel like it's like so traumatic for that group. But I don't know. I don't know. I I would have liked to see it, but at the same time I feel like they're like just trying to go, 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 go.
yeah, maybe that's the point too, is like at least with Hunter and Wrecker, they've been so focused on getting Omega back that it has
Yeah.
just been go, 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 go. So they haven't had time to slow down and really take in everything that's happened. And even
Yeah.
Fennec in this episode pulls on some of those heartstrings and they're like, yeah, I heard that you lost the kid as well. And Wrecker just is like,
Yeah. That was so sad.
I know. Because Wrecker was just being all like very like, oh yeah, we're not gonna tell you anything. And then
Yeah.
she hits him where it hurts, and he just turns into a big teddy bear again.
Yeah. Yeah. Fennec was definitely pulling on those heartstrings. And I'm just like where is this information available? Like who's the contacts that just knows all this
It's on the
stuff?
HoloNet. She's
So
talking with Sid. Her and Sid are besties now, and she's been giving them all the tea.
I totally forgot about Sid because you already know that they're gonna have her come back up at some point.
Oh yeah, she's gonna do some bullshit, or they're gonna
Yeah.
be stuck on a mission having to like break her out of a imperial prison or some shit. And they're gonna be like, Sid, and she's gonna be
Yeah.
like, "Hi, boys."
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. That would be a cool moment where it's like Sid is helping out. Like Sid does something to help them out.
Oh, I didn't think about it like that. I just meant like she was trying to put her hands in too many places, and the Empire was like,
Oh.
girl, we know you're giving out fake chain codes." And so
Oh.
then they work with another bounty hunter that needs Sid to be broken out or some bullshit.
Right.
I'd be perfectly fine if we don't see Sid again. That's
Yeah.
just me.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there might be something left there with what's going on because it did just kind of end abruptly. Like I don't know. Part of me's like I want to see Sid suffer for her actions.
Well, maybe when they go break all the clones out of Mount Tantus, she'll be there. Sid will be on Mount
Yeah.
Tantus in a cell, and they'll taken her DNA and mixed it with the Zillow beast.
Right. Right. But let's talk about the main plot of this episode and kind of why Fennec was in it and the bounty mission that
Mhm.
went on. So obviously they're looking to find out more information about these M count bounties to figure out what's going on with Omega, why she's so important to the Empire, which is exactly
Mhm.
what Captain Rex told Hunter last week, giving us that cliffhanger. Continuing on here, they're trying to figure out more information about these bounties, so they contact a bounty hunter, and the one they chose was Fennec Shand.
Yeah, which I can't lie, I wasn't that excited for Fennec when the trailer came out, but I did
Yeah.
really enjoy her in this episode. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know what it was, and maybe it's just because we haven't seen her since what Book of Boba Fett at this point. So
Yeah.
she was kind of like a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. I don't know.
Yeah.
Something about her presence, just her kind of calm, cool, and collected demeanor, but it's also like she's cooler than you.
Yeah.
Like
She's a cool
she's
bounty
way
hunter.
cooler than anybody else, and she knows it. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what I like about her, at least in the Bad Batch.
Yeah. Yeah. She's very she knows exactly what she wants, what she needs, and she makes it very clear if she does not want you sitting next to her, she'll tell you to go. If she does want you to stay sitting there, she'll tell you to stay. Being
Yeah.
able to order around, being like, oh, you can trust me. I'll bring back the information that I owe you. And it's like, you can either fight me or find out if you can trust me. So I kind of like that personality. She's like untouchable. Uh,
Kinda, yeah, very true, and I really dug whatever planet they found her on, that bar
if you
with
can
all the,
even
like,
call it a planet, it was like it
well, it
looked
was,
like sorry pieces from the game. Sorry.
you know what it reminded me of?
What?
The Colossus.
Colossus. Oh, from Resistance.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you mentioned
not
that
me
show
bringing
of
up
all people.
resistance. Um, it was like a floating space station. It was giving
Okay.
me resistance vibes. It was giving me vibes of the Colossus. They even had one of the little droids, and I looked it up because I didn't remember this off the top of my head because I'm not a
Uh,
resistance girly, but LE, like they had a little LE droid that was kind of like bobbling along down the hallway before they go into the bar. So it was just giving me
hmm.
resistance vibes. I don't know if it was on purpose, but resistance
Yeah.
girlies, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, the reference I thought of from that planet, it reminded me of the High Republic book Into the Dark, one of the few High Republic books I actually got to read. But they go to like this Amaxine space station. It's also seen in the Kylo Ren comics.
Hmm.
It's where like Snoke. I don't know if you know anything about those comics, but it's where Kylo finds Snoke,
Oh,
and there's
and
these
he's got that really
rings.
ugly outfit on. He's got like a
Yeah,
little
with the
hat and
hat.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's like a planet with rings. It's called like the Maxine Space Station or something like that. So, yeah, I uh I feel like it fits into Star Wars, but I don't think it's a planet. I think it's a little station.
Yeah, so well, the station is on a planet. That's what I was getting at. But yeah, I want
Right.
to talk about the station itself. So on top of reminding me of the Colossus or the Maxine station or whatever you were talking about, or two sorry pieces put together, I really dug the vibe of the bar on the station. Like when they actually go and find Fennec, I love the like neon and grungy vibe to it. The music they were playing was also really good. It reminded me of
Yeah.
something like that you'd hear in Pylon Saloon on Jedi Survivor. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like we've been getting so much in-universe music lately, like with
Yes.
Niamos from Andor,
Bumpin'.
Jedi Fallen Order, Survivor.
Mhm.
Jedi Fallen Order, didn't they have like a whole ass band that's like a real world band making music
Yeah.
for
The Who.
yeah. So, yeah, it's really cool to see that type of thing. Like I've said before in the last episodes, no matter what, we know that we're going to get amazing world building from the
Mhm.
Bad Batch. I mean, we got a fucking praying mantis bounty hunter that literally in the picture I was laughing so hard because it's literally just it looks like a praying mantis in a disguise and he's holding a gun. I'm like, this is like meme material. Fucking praying
Well,
mantis holding a gun.
and he's got like fucking crab claws. He's got like
Yes.
crustacean limbs on a praying mantis body. But the thing that I loved about it is, as kooky as it sounds, it
Hmm.
makes sense that it's the same species as the praying mantis seen in the cantina in A New Hope. Like,
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
how in A New Hope it's been
Yep.
joked about how they just kind of threw whatever they could in the cantina.
Yeah,
That's why you have like a
exactly.
werewolf and you have a praying mantis, and I didn't even know they have a name. It's the, I don't know how you say, but it's the Yamri species. So,
Hmm.
uh, but yeah,
Yamri
they're,
species. Interesting.
according to Wikipedia, they are the same species. So, what was his name? Sylar
Sylar.
Saris
Yeah.
is the same species as the praying mantis in A New Hope. So the Bad Batch, like you said, world building. I mean, I feel like Star Wars animation in general
Yeah.
kills world building, something that
Yeah.
live action is really not doing great. So,
Suffering. Suffering hard.
and unfortunately, if they tried to have Sylar Saris in live action, it'd probably not look great. But
Yeah.
you know, that's why we love animation.
Yeah, 100%. And speaking of things I love, if
Hmm.
you've been watching all the episodes of The Bad Batch, Crosshair and Omega, those are my people, seeing them
Hmm.
together. And we got another episode of them together. Minimal
Hmm.
stuff, but still impactful moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there was like altogether like 3 times that they went back and showed them, but it was still impactful. We saw Crosshair struggling with his hand and the hand tremors that he's having.
It's crazy because Hunter's even the one that's like who turns to Omega and is like, "Can you try to get him to get his hand looked at, like, while we're
Yes.
gone?" After he's like, "You can't come with us, but while
Yeah.
you're here, let me give you a mission. Make
Right.
Crosshair get
And
his
then they
hand
didn't
looked at."
and then they didn't show at all how she convinced him. It was just next time we saw them, they were looking at his hand.
I know, I was really surprised. I was like, "Damn, that didn't take much convincing."
Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, AZ comes in and is like, "Well, there's nothing physically wrong with your hand." And Crosshair takes that as, "Well, it's not in my mind." How did you take it? Because I didn't take it as AZ saying, "Oh, it's like a mental thing." I think that it's like something to do with what happened with the clone experiments that he did, and Omega and AZ mentioned that. And then we also see like Hemlock
mhm.
has something weird with his hand. So I feel like it's all connected. Something's going on there with hands and such. But
Well
I didn't take it as like it was a mental thing that it can be solved by meditation, but I don't know.
well, it's funny to think about because initially I was like, "Oh, I bet it's his inhibitor chip. I bet he didn't actually get it
Mm,
taken out like he lied and said he did." Because I didn't think he was being like, I think he was lying when he said
yeah.
that initially. Maybe he did get it taken out by this point, but I thought, either it was his inhibitor chip, maybe his body was starting to reject it or something.
Hmm.
Maybe they put a new chip inside of him when they tried to reprogram him to be one of those clone assassins, but that
Yeah.
didn't work. But it's funny because now that we know it's something they're trying to portray it as something as a mental block, not actually something that was done to him, but
Yeah.
something that maybe his mind is doing on its own, that makes me think it could just be due to trauma, which
Yeah.
trauma can show itself in many different ways, whether it be a tremor or whether it be, just triggers in general. And it's
Yeah.
crazy that at the end of the episode, Omega's like, and we're going to heal this issue with meditation,
Yeah.
which makes a lot of sense if it's just like a mental thing. Like mental health professionals will talk about using meditation.
Yeah.
Every job is like, we offer sessions of better help. Like it's a
Not
whole
better
thing.
help. Yeah. No, I don't know. I think it's really cool what they're doing and how it could be just a mental thing, trauma, like you said.
And that's
And
way different for Star Wars. It's we're not
yeah,
just talking like battle PTSD. It,
yeah.
oh my, let's not get too fast on this because if we start talking about Star Wars in universe mental health, then people will be like, "Woke, the woke
I'm dead.
agenda."
Since when the fuck do we care about that?
But I
No,
think I
but
think it's a cool development in a different way to kind of show how trauma affects people.
yeah, like we say every week, the Bad Batch is just absolutely breaking ground with Star Wars. I think it's one of the most underrated Star Wars shows of all time because it just doesn't have the same hype as the other shows. But I get it. It took a while to get to this point of it being like absolutely great, banger after banger after banger, nonstop great episodes.
I mean, they literally started, marketing for the Acolyte, and barely
Right.
anybody, at least that I've seen, has talked at all about this Bad Batch episode on Twitter. Like, and
Yeah.
I feel kind of bad about it, to be honest. Poor Jennifer and the team.
Yeah.
Poor D. Bradley Baker and Michelle Ang. Like,
Yeah, it was a good episode too. I don't know. I've seen people kind of share around the sentiment like, "Oh, it's been the most boring episode," or "It's just not anyone's favorite." I don't know. I just I don't. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but I enjoyed it probably just as much as the other episodes.
well, and like I said, it was kind of a breath of fresh air having Fennec Shand, having Ming Na Wen back just
Yeah,
in Star Wars. Like I said earlier, she hasn't been around in a long time, it feels like. So, and, you know, who knows if what they're even going to do with her in the future with like the Mandoverse stuff. So I thought it was really nice to have her back, and I really enjoyed her in this episode. So I'm glad that we got more of her. And that was a highlight, not to get too early into like standouts or anything, but she was definitely a highlight of this episode for me.
yeah. It's always great seeing Fennec Shand. I love Ming Na Wen and her love for Star
Mhm.
Wars. Like if you just go on her
Yeah.
Instagram and look at all her posts about Ming Na Wen, she bought like a Ming Na Wen statue that sits on her front porch. So
Honestly, her and Diana Leah Inosanto, like,
yeah.
I
just
love
living
them,
for
and I
it.
feel like they don't get their flowers, the 2
Yeah,
of them, and they're both, like, stunt actresses too, and,
yeah,
Star Wars just, like, doesn't utilize them to their full potential, so any way we can get them in more stories, I'm
yeah.
here for it.
Oh my gosh, imagine if we got to see Morgan Elsbeth in animation at some point.
Hopefully, she'll at least have a different outfit on,
Yeah.
she'll be hanging out with Marin and Ventress on Dathomir next episode.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. But you kind of mentioned already standout characters. Who was your standout character in this episode here?
Kinda like I said already, it was Fennec Shand. It was
Hell yeah.
she was just so I don't know, I really loved her vibe this episode, and it gave us something different, especially after last week was so clone heavy, and
Yeah.
yes, this is the Bad Batch, but, like, I feel like it's time to kind of open the galaxy back up,
Yeah.
and Fennec Shand was, like, a great introduction to, having new characters come into the dynamic again.
Yeah, yeah, and it was a great start to the second half of the season. I feel like it was really good setup for everything that's to come. So I totally agree with you with Fennec Shand, which means that I can't pick Fennec Shand as my standout character.
No, you cannot. So, who do you pick instead?
uh, I gotta go Crosshair. I feel like it's not cheating to say Crosshair
Ah,
this week. I've only said Crosshair at the start, and so I feel like I could say Crosshair this episode because he didn't have anything substantial like we talked about. But I liked his moments and just like seeing this progression, the little jokes here and there where it's
yeah.
like Omega's like, well, you don't like anything. And he's like, true. Like, he's not even trying to argue it at this point. I feel like, I don't know. I'm just loving Crosshair having a family again and seeing how
Yeah, being
much
cross
better
dad.
he's doing. Yeah. Yeah. He's still not 100%, but I feel like by the end of this series, the more episodes that come out and we see this progression, the more and more I have hope that we're going to see a happy Crosshair at the end of this series.
Yeah, I hope so too, and because you were also gonna pick Fennec, and I feel like she was kind of the standout for everybody, Imma go back, and Imma give a silly one for a
Okay.
3rd option. I loved the pit droid bartender on the Not Colossus.
I
He was
don't.
just he was just so goofy because like, pit droids to me, they just feel like I don't know,
Yeah.
they're so goofy. So just seeing, like, a little pit droid in a hat being a bartender, it was just really funny. I loved
I
him.
must have missed it. I remember the pit droids because like when they were buying the boat and such, and like you said, they're like so like they're like cutesy droids. So I always feel bad because they always get like bullied as fuck in Star Wars. Like
Literally, episode 1, Anakin's like, "Hey, hit
yeah,
the nose!"
right. Or there's like in Mando where Din
Pelly's
Djarin's
just like
yelling at him like, "Get
both of
away!
them.
No droids on my ship!" And yeah, and then Pelly throwing them under the bus like, "Yeah, what are these droids?" And then in this episode, Fennec's like being so rude. She's kind of being a Karen to the pit
Oh my
droids.
god, yeah. "Can I get a ship that's not gonna capsize this time? Thanks."
Yeah. Well,
Uh,
I think next week is going to be super exciting if it's the episode that you've been waiting for.
well,
But
I'm gonna record a reaction either way, so hopefully
yeah.
it's exciting. Hopefully it's the one.
Yes. I can't wait to see that. But until then, why don't you send us out of here?
Yeah, make sure you follow us at Wayseekerspod on social media for all of our Bad Batch coverage. Thank you all so much for watching or listening, and may the Force be with you always.
Bye.